Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, night, wherever you are, and welcome to another edition to the England Roger Sports Hour on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. Roger is not with us today. Monali will join us at some point shortly, and in the meantime, we will update you on so much of that's happening in sports. And we've been away for a couple of weeks. My apologies. Just due to certain circumstances, but we're back and we should be here with you weekly and bringing you up to date on all the sports that's happening and everything that's going around in the sporting world. Today, we're going to start with some discussions and talk about, give you some updates as we're about to start. The English Premier League is about to start in a couple of days' time. And it's just seeing some movements and stuff like that. So we've got Manchester United have picked up Sesko for £74 million, and this should be a good move for them. The Leipzig striker has made his move, and the deal for the Slovenian international is a 5-year contract. So there's some movement going on there. The teams are trying to see who's best fit for their season upcoming. And there's quite a lot of discussions going around as to where different players will play this season. West Ham signed Leicester's keeper Hermansen for $20 million. Howe says he can't involve Isak at Newcastle. So there are some Chelsea Academy sales top $250 million in 3 years. Oh, wow. That's a lot of money that they Chelsea Academy getting. Broja joins Burnley. So there's some movement and people are getting ready for this upcoming season. And I'm sure that most of the fans are now starting to look to see who are their picks there. A lot of us have our favorite teams, but realistically, you have to look at it and see what chances. For me, I'm a Chelsea fan and I always stick with Chelsea, and I think this year they're going to have a good season. But I'm sure others like Roger and Theo would not agree with me, and they will say it's going to be Manchester United. But we will see as the season progresses. There's a lot to look forward to in this upcoming season, as the Premier League kicks off on the 15th of this month. So we are hopeful. Liverpool and Bournemouth kick off the season on the 15th, and we look forward to those games and how they will go. But I am looking to see if Liverpool will repeat or we will have a new champion. In other news going on in the sporting world, for sure everyone's following our beloved Blue Jays, and Blue Jays are doing well so far, and they have a three match cushion over Red Sox. They were over the Yankees for a while, but the Yankees keep dropping back. So the Yankees, I think, are 6.5 games behind the Blue Jays at the moment. So the Toronto Blue Jays, although they lost last night, they are still doing well and the top of the leaderboard in the AL East at 68 and 49. But Red Sox 65-52, Yankees are 61 and 55, and the Blue Jays. Many are always saying, in Toronto we always say this is our year and the team is going to win this year. But let's just hope the Blue Jays, at the way they're playing, they continue that playing for sure and not fall back and lose any more games. But they lost 5-3 last night, the Blue Jays, but they've been playing very good baseball as of late, and I look forward to seeing 5-1. To the Dodgers last night, not 5-3. They lost 5-1. The Red Sox, they had a romp last night, 10-2 over the Padres, and the New York Yankees, they lost 5-3. They're the ones who lost 5-3 to the Astros. And today's matchups Um, a couple of games on tap today. Are we going to see the Yankees will be playing again against the Astros today, starting this afternoon. That game's goes this afternoon. The Reds, Pirates, Royals, Twins, Guardians, Sox, Mets. Red Sox will play the Padres again. And I don't see a game for the Blue Jays today, so they probably have a day off today. Actually, they play the Dodgers, sorry, at 9:10 p.m. tonight, which is a late night start for us there in LA. So the Blue Jays and the Dodgers at 9:10. Watch it on Sportsnet live tonight. So we'll keep following the Blue Jays because in the six we like to know and we like to follow the teams that are winning, and that's what we do most of the time. Support the teams that are doing well. And another team, Toronto team that we're rooting for, but they're not doing too well, is the Argos. And it's sad to see the Argos. They're 2-6. They're not playing very well. Not a good season. They're just sitting third in the East Division. And the Tiger Cats, they're playing very well. The Alouettes, they're 5-4. Tiger Cats, Hamilton, 6-3. Our neighbors just down the road. The Red Blacks are 2-6 in the Western Division. The Rough Riders 7-1. Stampeders are 5-3. Blue Bombers are 4-3. Lions 4-5, and Elks 2-6. So that's how it's the standing in the CFL. And for today's games, we see the Argos will play the Red Blacks at 3:00. Blue Bombers and Stampeders today at 7. And we look forward to those games. Looking forward to seeing how they're going to bounce back and get some wins. So they've sometimes looked like they've started well, but something just goes wrong and they don't finish in the way that we expect them to. But looking forward to them getting a win tonight. And that will make all the CFL Argo fans happy if they can beat the Red Blacks tonight. You're listening to the England Rogers Sports Hour. It's on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. And I think as we're talking about Canadians and Canadian sport, that's what I've started out with. I think all Canadians are now very happy and smiling if you're a tennis fan, because Victoria Mboka became the youngest since 2003 and to win the Canadian National Bank Open presented by Rogers. And she did so by beating Naomi Osaka 2-6, 6-4, 6-1. And I guess you can call her the comeback kid because she's lost the day before to number 9 seed Rebekina. And she was also 1-6, 7-5, 7-6. And she actually won over a number of seeds on the way. She took down Coco Gauff, remember, earlier on. She beat Busa. So 4 seeded players that she had to go through to get there. Actually, after she beat Coco Gauff, I was thinking, I hope it's not one of those stories where you see the player puts in all the effort and energy to win at this, to beat a top seed and then bows out the next time. But she shows that she's a real deal, and she played some remarkable tennis. I think she's not only just talented and exciting player, but I think she's got the mentality to go along with it. So a lot of good things, I think, to come from this 18-year-old. It's going to be a lot of pressure on her. She's gone from world 333, I think it was, down now to world 294. So the jump in the rankings, I mean, that by itself has been so sensational. And for those of you who watched the match, for me, it was either one of the two could have won. I would have been fine. Bit towards the Canadian player because you have two players that you're rooting for, but you the Canadian and you're just a home team person. That's the one that you want to win. So I had given Mboka the edge, and I was happy to see her come back. And she was so gracious on the field. And beating a mentor It was something really remarkable. A bit of a disappointment, I think, on the at the end of the game, and they gave their speeches. But I think I can understand what Naomi Osaka was going through, but she just did not seem to be there, and she did not even congratulate her for winning, which I think was an oversight on her part because I saw something later on where she might have apologized and said she played really well because you've got a youngster who is your idol, who idolizes you, and you lose to them. You have to give high praise for that person, and that person is looking forward to you. But as we said, Mboka is so gracious. She said, you know what? She doesn't change. It hasn't changed anything on the way she feels about Osaka and what she thinks of her as a player and someone she looked up to. And Osaka, when she was young, she beat Serena Williams, so she was in similar position and understood what it was like to beat someone that you look up to when you're a youngster. So some remarkable tennis that we saw there from Mboka, and I'm looking forward to some great things. She actually withdrew from the upcoming Cincinnati. I was looking forward to see how she went on in that Cincinnati, but she had a wrist injury and played through that wrist injury to win the Canadian Open. So she's taken some time off, withdrew from that, took some time off to overcome that injury so she can be back strong and be ready for the next event that she has to play with. So yeah, actually just getting back to Osaka, she apologized to Mboka. She said she was in a daze, and she looked that way actually. I feel for her because she thought she had this. The first set she won E6-2. She looked like she was cruising, and then came back, and the crowd seemed to have gotten to her. But for someone who's played so much tennis, she should understand. I don't think the crowd was against her as a person, but you're rooting for the home team favorite, a home person. So that's what it was. But she didn't take it too well, and she just seemed as though she was a bit out of it. But kudos to Mboko, and let's look forward to some great matches. I'm sure they'll meet each other again, and we'll see some great tennis whenever they play each other. So look forward to that matchup again at some point. And the National Bank Open on the men's side in Toronto, we saw Ben Shelton, the American, came from behind. He went to win 7-6, 6-4, 7-6, and 6-7, 6-4, 7-6. Yeah, that's Ben Shelton. That's how he won. At one point, I thought that he wouldn't have a chance of coming back. He played some remarkable tennis, and controversy there at some point because the line call audio that wasn't working, and the ref was making the call. So stop the play for a bit with some debate. But you know what? The tennis went on, and they had a good match. And the people both in Montreal and Toronto, they both had some fantastic tennis to look forward to. And kudos to the organizers, the Tennis Canada, for putting on a good show. And look forward to the women playing in Toronto next year and watching Mboka in person instead of having to watch her on TV because I'm a tennis fan as well. So I look forward to seeing her play some tennis there. So you're listening to the England Rogers Sports Hour. Roger's not here with us today. Monali will be joining and talking to me a bit later on. And once she does, we'll probably get into some cricket. There's a lot of cricket to talk about, and also some track and field. Don't know if there's some great track and field over the weekend with the USATF. Wow, it was some fantastic running and some disappointment for some people for not making the USA World Championships World's team. So definitely we will have a chat about that. I'll get into some cricket before I just continue as Monali joins, but Starting today is the World Cup qualifiers for the Americas region for the under 19 World Cups qualifiers. That's played in Atlanta, USA, and I'm just having a look here now. The game is about to start, and USA is batting first. Canada won the toss; they elected to field, and USA will bat. There's no score as yet, but Canada on the 19 team, a very bold move actually to probably bat second. Thought that you'd want to. My thought about associates cricket is a team that bats first and put a score on the. They'll normally try and put the pressure on the team batting because scoreboard pressure at this level is always something that the team chasing do not do well with. But hoping that in this case it doesn't happen and that Canada will come out on top and win this game. So looking forward to updating the scores and to following the scores. Unfortunately, these games are not streamed. They're very much so disappointment because the under 19 games are not streamed. I don't know the reason for it. I think at this level, all cricket should be streamed, and I think that it is going to be interesting to see how this tournament goes. The teams in this tournament are Canada, USA, Bermuda, and Argentina. But most people feel that the two games to watch are the Canada-US games, which of today and the final game in the tournament. But in cricket, anything can happen, and I would not count out any team, especially at the junior level. Anything can happen. USA just came back from the Caribbean where they did very well, ended up in the finals, lost to Barbados in the finals. They actually topped the group in the round robin portion of it, but then lost to Barbados in the finals. So USA had two teams in that tournament, which was showing the strength of their cricket in the USA, which was good for them. The B team didn't do too well, but the A team for the USA, they ended up in the finals. And I am sure they're going into this game full of confidence. But it's cricket, it's played on the field, and sport generally is played on the field, and we will see what happens in this tournament. Some other cricket that's going on around the world. Zimbabwe and New Zealand played their second test match. Finished today quite early. I was wondering what New Zealand was going to do, but they declared overnight the 601 for three. Speaking to a friend yesterday, and I said, you know what? I don't think Brian Lara's record is going to last much longer with some of the teams that are playing in Test cricket at the moment. There's all this talk about two-tier cricket, and that's something that we're going to have a discussion on at some point. Bring on some probably panel and discuss whether the Test cricket should be two-tier or one. Because you look at the team Zimbabwe, they just played against New Zealand in the second Test match. They got blown away in the first, and now the second Test match. It looks to me as though it's just so one-sided, 125 all out. And New Zealand, 601 for three declare. Three people getting centuries. Devon Conway, 153. Henry Nichols, 150. And Rachin Ravinda was 165 not out in 139 balls. So it shows how Test cricket, how the players are playing in Test cricket. They declared overnight, as I said, and Zimbabwe, they were actually no better in the second inning. Bowled out in 28.1 overs for 117. And it's not looking good for Zimbabwe. I mean, they've done some things that I wonder if it's going in the right direction because they brought back some players. I mean, they've got Craig Irvin, he's 39. He's coming to the end of his career. They've got a few players, Sikandar Raza, who they brought back into the Test team. He's up there as well, 39. So Zimbabwe has to do something at the grassroots level or the development stages to get a better team. in order to, you can't be bringing these guys at these ages and hoping that they're going to be the savior for you in Test cricket. So I think Zimbabwe have to have a look at how they are developing their players and decide which is the best way forward for their team. So that series, I think that would have been the final match of the series. I think it's a 2-test series, is it? Yes, it's a 2-test series, so it's a 2-0 easy, 9-wicket win New Zealand in the first, and then in the second test match, a win by 359 runs on an innings. So not any contest at all. I think one of the other series that is playing is the West Indies and Pakistan. I want to talk a little bit about that. The three T20Is which were played in Florida. And when Monali comes, I'll ask her this question because I don't know if the experiment of playing in Florida is working. I realize a lot of teams are going to Florida thinking that USA is going to be the next big market for cricket. But I don't think that's going to happen. Every time I hear that, I remember when USA hosted the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, and everyone thought soccer was going to take off big time in the US, and it never did. And I have a feeling cricket is heading in the same direction without proper marketing, without proper planning. Just putting games in Fort Lauderdale, the crowds were very poor. And Pakistan, kudos to them. They won the series 2-1. I think it could have gone either way. West Indies played good in spurts, but I don't think West Indies are playing to their potential, and I don't think they're selecting the right teams. Unfortunately, some of the top players had injuries, and they were out. But West Indies have to do something special because both teams, I believe, are going through a phase where they're trying to find their best combinations for the upcoming World Cup in India and Sri Lanka, and also for the way forward for both teams, because we know West Indies changed their captain, they changed the coaches to one coach for all formats, and it's not working well so far. But something has to give. I don't believe it's just the cricket, because I think both teams have talented players. West Indies have talented players, but definitely I think that the mental part of it, they're not training properly. Something is not right, and they have to really look into it. It's not going to be a quick fix, but I think you can see better results if they do the right things. Just giving you a rundown on the game last night, which now they've lost. West Indies lost the series, T20I series 2-1, and they've now fallen behind in the ODI series, which has been played in Trinidad and Tobago at the Taruba at the Brian Lara Stadium. And again, watching the game last night, there were no crowds. So no one is spending time watching these cricket matches. And good for West Indies when they batted. I think they scored 280, which I thought was about 30 to 40 runs short. They should have gotten over 300. And you look at it, you see Brandon King, he got out early, 60 for Lewis. Good to see Evan Lewis back among the runs. Casey Cathy, who seemed to enjoy this form of cricket better than Test cricket or any other cricket, he got 30. And just to see the way he got out, it was very disappointing. I think he got out on a very poor delivery, which he could have smashed anywhere, and tried to be a little cute, I think, in his shot making, and got out caught by the keeper because he got to hit the back of the bat and just went straight up in the air. Shea Hope, the captain, continues to make runs. He got 55. But if you look at the comments from some of the fans about Shea Hope, people are saying he's selfish and he's only thinking of himself. But I don't think so. I think he tried to rebuild the team, rebuild the innings, but it got out at 50. When you get to 50, these players need to kick on. Sheffield and Rutherford, 10. He doesn't seem like he want to be on the park. And I'm having some discussions with some friends, and I actually saw what we were discussing yesterday. I saw someone post something very similar today, that Sheffield and Rutherford needs to go. And I don't think he is into it for whatever reason. Like he doesn't seem to want to be in the maroon colors. He don't seem to want to represent West Indies the way he's played and the way his body language looks from an outsider. It looks like he's just there because somebody's forcing him to. But you know what? Everybody takes control of their own destiny, so he needs to make a decision what he wants to make to do. Royston Chase, he tried, he bat 53. Sad to see him after getting his first 50 in the Caribbean get out maybe a couple of balls later because he looked pretty good. And I think if he was able to stick around, West Indies would have kicked on to over 300. But he got out to Naseem Shah, and that started a bit of a downfall. Shepard didn't do much. He got four. Good against Moti. He batted well, and he's starting to look like a very good all rounder. He got 31, smashed some good boundaries, three fours and two sixes. Shamar Joseph, he had eight. He looked decent as well, not too bad with the bat. And West Indies 280 was never, in my mind, enough. Although they made a game of it, and at one point it looked like it would have come down to the wire, but Pakistan got over. 4 wickets for Shaheen Afridi. Nazim shot three for 55, one each to Ayub, Makeem, and Aga. And when Pakistan batted, Baba's looked good. He had 47, 53 to Mohammed Rizwan, the captain, and 63 not out to Hassan Nawaz, who got them over the line. So West Indies bowling Seals, he had one wicket for 59. Shamar Joseph, 2 for 65. I think a bit expensive in the end. Moti, 1 for 42. Good figures. Royston Chase, 1 for 41 also. And if you look at, there's another player, Jedediah Blades. He had 7 overs for 53, no wickets. And I'm just thinking, good to have youngsters in the setup, but I'm just wondering if he is ready to play in this in this level. But you know what? I'm not a coach. I'm not the management part of management, and West Indies are doing what they think is best to get their team ready for this level. But I do not believe a guy like Jediah Blades is ready for this level of cricket. You've got other players on the bench who I really believe are good enough to be playing for the West Indies, but it's not to be. And they go at it again tomorrow at 9:30. Yesterday was a day-night game, but they go at it tomorrow, Sunday, at 9:30 a.m. for the next second match. Let's hope West Indies can come out on top, get it even the series, and then all to play for on the final day. That's what you would like to have, and that's what the fans would like to have, because if you lose tomorrow, basically, well, Pakistan has won the series. So you want to win tomorrow, and then Tuesday, you play for everything. So looking forward to see how that match goes tomorrow. And for all of you cricket fans, tune in and enjoy some good cricket. You're listening to the England Rogers Sports Hour on Love Bay Afro Beats Music Talk Radio. And as I said, Roger's not with us. Monali should be joining. I know she's busy for a while. Whenever she can, she will. And we'll continue talking some cricket because a lot of fantastic cricket has been played. And I think cricket fans who say Test cricket is dead, then they didn't watch that final test with England and India. Because, that to me just had some, so many ups and downs. Who could have won? I never actually thought India had a chance of even in the series after the way that England was batting. But then they persevered, they stayed with it, and they ended up winning that match by 6 runs, a cliffhanger. So it was really fantastic. And Mohammad Siraj, player of the match, I think I was talking to someone and I said, a guy like Siraj, Bumrah, we know his capabilities and how good he is, but I would always want a guy like Siraj on my team any day. He fights to the end. He's a workhorse. He works hard. He does not give up. I don't think he knows the meaning of give up, and he just runs in hard. Well, you can't tell if he's tired or not. He just runs in hard. and gives his 100% every time. So I think India did very well to come back and save this game. So the Test series going into the last match, it was 2-1 England, and from day one, it looked all England because India bowled out and for 224. Top score for that goes to Karun. He scored 57, 38 to Sudarshan. He got 38, 26 to Washington Sundar, who's turning to me into a fantastic all-rounder and proven that he's ready for Test cricket. And he is the number 7 that India has been looking for, who can give you runs and he can still get you some wickets. A very good off spin, I think. But I think a fantastic cricketer, definitely. He got his first century. He got it in the match prior. He got a Test century in that series. Himself and Jadeja got hundreds. So I think Washington Sundar is a player that definitely have a lot of time for. And I think he is one that in India will have services for a long time. But getting back to the scores in the game, 224 India all out in the first innings. Bowling for England, we had 5 wickets for Gus Atkinson, 3 for Tong, 1 for Wokes. And Wokes suffered an injury in that match. He wasn't able to take part in the second innings. But when England, he actually didn't even bat for England in that first innings because he was hurt. So he had a dislocated shoulder, and he has decided to look into rehabbing the shoulder to be ready for the Ashes instead of doing surgery. So he's going to do some tests and get best opinion from the doctors and they decide. But England 247, and at one point England looked like they were going to run away with this Test match from the first innings and have a huge score and probably a huge lead, but that wasn't to be. The lead was only 23 because after 15 overs, England were 100. Zach Crawley scored 64. Duckett continues to play in an aggressive way, 43. 53 for Harry Brook, but then it was all downhill after that. And I sometimes think that the England batsmen, because of this baseball that they decide they're going to be playing, that they give away their wickets unnecessarily. And that's how I think what happened. But for bowling for India, Mohammad Siraj, as we said, I'll have him on my team any day. 4 for 86, 4 for 62 by Krishna, and 1 for 80. Akash debut, and Chris Wokes didn't bat because he was absent. He was hurt. Batting a second time, England looked pretty good. And Jaiswal, a youngster, who carried that innings, 118. Akash Deep, he came in as a night watchman, scored 66. The Jadeja, he had 53. Washington Sundar, 53. Drew Durrell, he had 34. And 396 they scored, giving England 373 for victory. And England, to be honest with you, they looked like on their way. They were Ben Duckett 54, Ollie Pope 27 early on, a couple of wickets early on. They were at one stage 106 for 3, but then a partnership of 195 between Joe Root and Harry Brook, 105 for Joe Root, who takes him out 38, is it? 38 Test hundreds, and he's getting up there. Keep breaking records, keep passing, and one day I'm sure 39 hundreds actually, that's correct. And one day he's going to be probably the lead, and he's probably going to pass Sachin Tendulkar if he continues. He's probably going to pass him for the most runs in Test cricket. So he batted well for 105, 111 to Harry Brook. And I thought that the turning point, when Harry Brook got out, England were 301 for 4. but with only needing 72 runs. But at that stage, I thought this might be the turning point in the game because I think Harry Brook got out unnecessarily. He played. They continued the way they were playing, but the shot was not the best shot to play at the time. But they've decided the baseball is how they're going to play the cricket, and he actually turned out not so good and got out for 111, a bit of a turning point. Jacob Bethel came in, never looked settled, and he only scored 5 runs in 31. And then he decided he too was going to have a crack at it, and he got out. And the next day, Jamie Smith got out, and the next day, the question was whether or not Chris Wilkes was going to bat if England needed him to. And he did come out and bat, didn't face any balls. And there's a thought that maybe the captain deliberately set the field back to give a single to the other batter, knowing that he would be able to dismiss him eventually, so that Chris Wilkes would not have to face a ball and will not have to risk further injury. So some sort of sportsmanship has been there between India captain to allow Chris Wilkes, who batted for 16 minutes without first facing a ball, not to have to go through any discomfort unnecessarily, knowing that they felt that they were going to win at any point. So fantastic win for India. It's fantastic for Test cricket. Great statement, and the best you can ask for sure. Mohammad Siraj 5 for 104, giving him 9 in the Test. Krishna 4 for 126, and Akashdeep 1 for 85. India winning that match by 6, even in that Test series. And as I said, for those who were saying Test cricket is dead, I think if you watch that series, for me, I prefer watching Test cricket than any other form of cricket. So that was a great statement for Test cricket. And England now look forward to the Ashes. And the discussion about Ashes have already started. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But just to remind you, you're listening to the England Rogers Sports Hour on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. And as I mentioned, the Ashes coming up pretty soon, and discussions. People are already starting to give their predictions about the Ashes and how it's going to go and who's going to win. And there's some talk that from the Australians that it's going to be 5-0. I mean, of course, if you're an Australian, you'll say that it's going to be 5-0. But I don't believe it will be 5-0. I think it's going to be a great series, and it's going to be interesting to see who actually comes out on top in that Ashes series. But that's those kind of things and discussion definitely brings out the best in both teams and makes everyone interested in seeing what will happen and bring out the crowd to these games. So 25-26 Ashes series, as the discussion, as I said, it started already. But you know what? I don't believe it's going to be any one-sided games. The first test is still a long way away. It's 21st of November, but the banter has started. So I saw something today with a response from Jeff Boycott, but sometimes you see stuff on social media, you don't know if it's a real thing. So you just leave it alone. But he said something about, yes, Australia definitely have the edge if they use sandpaper. So I'm not sure if that's really something that came from him, or it was just social media trying to get at things and stir up things and make people more interested in watching this Ashes series. But it's going to be a fantastic series, definitely, when it starts in November, and we look forward to that. Recent cricket that has finished, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh series. They played test series. Sri Lanka won that 1-0, a one-off test basically. Sri Lanka and won the ODIs 2-1, and Bangladesh won the T20s 2-1. So I guess both teams have something to be happy about, because Bangladesh might be thinking, okay, the World Cup, the next big thing is the World Cup coming up, starting in February, and we're winning games and we're on track to do something special there. So I'm sure that's what they may be thinking. For other cricket that's happening around, I'm trying to get a score from the Canada game. As I said, there's not a lot of coverage on that, which is very, very disappointing. So the junior youth cricketers are not getting live coverage, and there's no live stream. There's no ball by ball, and I think that is something that definitely needs to be corrected if we're going to promote cricket, not just we're going to promote junior cricket, and that's something that we need to get corrected. We see seeing a post here, the game, the American. You look at the games and you can tell it's mostly the parents that are there and just flocking in to watch the games, because again, it's in Atlanta. It's at the Paramount Sports Complex, which I understand it's just maybe an hour and a bit outside of Atlanta. And again, these games should be played somewhere closer where you can get fans, easy access coming in to support the youngsters. And that's what definitely I would like to see in the future. But at the moment, we'll just have to rely on social media and someone from the ground to give us some updates on what's happening there. Just to wrap up on cricket, as we said, the Australia A and in women are playing India A. The 100 has started. Both men and women have started. The SLC T20. There's so many T20s matches that are going on around the world that it's not really, to me, the best things for cricket. I think they need to regulate the leagues. I keep saying that I believe that the same players are playing over and over in every league, but I think a system similar to FIFA, in which you get drafted for a league, then you play in that league, not that you play one game today and then you jump on the plane and you're playing another league tomorrow. That to me makes no sense, but that's how it is at the moment. Just to wrap up on cricket, the Canadian Nationals started and then finished yesterday, and unfortunately, the game that everybody was looking forward to, which would have been the Central Shield and the Western Grizzlies, didn't happen. There's an unfortunate incident where there was no rain, but the pitch got wet because the sprinklers inadvertently came on and soaked the pitch just at the time the players were about walking onto the field. And there was some technical issues at the grounds. People couldn't get the water shut off right away, so that match was eventually abandoned. I mean, the players stuck around for hours hoping that the ground would get dried. It didn't happen. But in the end, on points, Alberta points, we saw the Grizzlies coming out ahead on points after playing 3 matches, 2 wins, no losses, 1 no result, 2.896 net run rate. The Central Shield similar results, 2-0-1 no result, 2.595. So the Western Grizzlies came out on top. The Eastern Fury, which makes up of the Montreal and the Atlantic provinces, they were 1-2-0, and Prairie Fire 3 matches 0-3, and this is in the 50 over version. And for those of you who want to watch some local national cricket and see what Canada has to offer in terms of talent and the young players who are coming through, then you can go to Batsman Park, which is in Brampton at Sandalwood and Dixie area. You can go to Batsman Park and have a look at the nationals. In terms of the championships, the batting, I think Nicholas Manohar, he was a top run getter for that tournament. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, who's known mostly for his batting, he was a top wicket taker in the tournament with 8 wickets. And most catches was by Talwar, Pajwal Talwar. He had 4 catches. So in terms of the cricket being played there, it was pretty good. So Manohar topped, and Gursahib Singh from Eastern Fury, I think he's from Montreal originally. He was second, he averaged 28. Nicholas Manohar had a 86 average. Anup Chima, another young talent, he had 76. He was third in the batting. And some decent scores from some of the youngsters when you look at it. So not too bad at all. A series there for the youngsters. And it's good to see that the talent is coming through, and hopefully we can see something special from some of these youngsters in the future. Canada will be hosting Namibia and Scotland starting on the 25th of this month. So look forward to that series at King City, Canada, in a more or less must-win situation. And you hope that they will do well and come out on top. And if they do, then they can get back in the top 4 and in contention for championships. So that's what everyone will be looking forward to, and hoping Canada can move from their 5th position, which they're in now, back up into the top 4. It's not going to be easy, but I am sure they're capable of doing so. So look forward to seeing that. You're listening to the England Rogers Sports Hour, and on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. And on the weekend, we're going to talk a little bit of track and field and give you some not scores, but some results, some key results from the championships that was held over the weekend. And for me, I think Saturday, there was the day that that everyone looked forward to, and saw some fantastic results and surprising results in some cases. But I'm going to start with the men's final in the 400. We saw Patterson 44.16 winner. Chris Bailey 44.43 second. Caleb McRae 44.45 third. So those 3 would have gone through to the USA team. And in the women's 400-meter hurdles, we saw Sydney McLaughlin didn't run in the 400 hurdles because she said she wanted to compete in the 400 flat. But if you look at the results from the 100 meters and the 200 meters in the women, because I think that's something that this Melissa Jefferson, she is in a zone, and I don't think she is beatable at the moment. She's been running some fantastic times. She's just tearing up the track, if you want to say it that way. But in the women's 100-meter finals, she ran 10.65, which is a world leading on her personal best. Kayla White was second in 10.84. Aliyah Hobbs, 10.92, third. So that makes up the team. Titi Terry, unfortunately, she was just fourth in 10.94. And English Gardner, who was still there, she was finished, I don't want to say last, but she finished 8th, 9th in the In the men's 100 meters, Kenny Bednarik, he ran 10.79, his personal best, to win. Courtney Lindsay, 982, Tomas McCollum, 983, Trayvon Bromell, who did not make it, he was 984, and Christian Coleman, 986, who is supposedly in a relationship with Shakara Richardson, and we heard of what happened, and there was some incidents. So at the airport, where Shakari was arrested for assaulting him. So maybe he was a bit shook up and didn't run to his best of potential. But if we go back to the women's final of the 200, and Melissa Jefferson Wooden, again, she won in 21.84 over Anavia Battle, who had 22.13, and Gabby Thomas, who was lucky to make the team because she was third at 22.20, and Brittany Brown and Mackenzie Long, they all three ran the same time, but the photo finish showed Gabby Thomas as a third, and she made the team, and she was so happy to make the team. And I think she's going to go back to the drawing board, and you're going to see something special from Gabby Thomas, one of my favorite athletes. But I just feel Melissa Jefferson Wooden is in a zone. She's unbeatable. She's has run some times this year that I don't even think she ran her best 200. I think at some point by the Worlds, she is going to even have a lower time than this. And this was her personal best, but she's got something more. And she's going to I have a feeling it's going to be a really great battle between her and Julian Alfred in the finals of the 100 meters, especially. But the way she's running right now, it could put her to take that and also probably do the double. And I don't give anyone else a chance right now unless Sharika Jackson is fit and running to her best. Then you can see a challenge from Sharika. But at the moment, it's all Melissa Jefferson Wooden. In the men's 200 meters, wow, some drama there because Noah Lyles, he won a world lead in 1963 from Kenny Bednarik, 1967, Robert Gregory, 19.8, Courtney Lindsay, the fourth at 19.82. And I saw a little drama because at the end of the race, Noah Lyles was looking over at Kenny Bednarik, and this probably had a few words to say to each other, and Bednarik pushed Noah Lyles at the end. And some people are saying that Noah Lyles got into his lane. There were some words after, even at the interview, and Bednarik said, "Listen, if you have a problem with me, I expect a phone call." And so I expect those two to be talking to each other. It's not, I don't think they're going to be friends. I think they're going to see a lot of rivalry. But Bednarik says, you know what, next time they meet, he's going to beat him. So little things like this are not bad, and it's good for the sport. And I think that I look forward to them racing again because just from what happened there, I mean, nothing that I expected, nothing personal, I don't think will come. They don't like each other, I don't know, but I don't think they will be having coffee and tea and hanging out together too often. But these men, these two guys, they are going to have some fantastic races coming up. Just quickly before we shut off, because we're coming close to the end of the show, the women's 400 meters, Sydney McLaughlin, LeVron 48.90, Isabel Whitaker 49.59, Alea Butler 49.91. Those three made the team. And no surprises once Sydney McLaughlin decides she's going to run in whatever event she decides to run in. Maybe not the shorter sprints, but anything with 400, whether it's hurdles or the flats, she is going to win. And in the men's side, we had Patterson 44.16, Chris Bailey 44.43, and Kelly McRae. Those three made it to the team for the Worlds. And the men's 400 meter hurdles, Rai Benjamin was just a class above everybody, 46.89 to Caleb Dean 48.45 and Christopher Robinson 48.56. So, and the women's hurdles finals, good to see Delilah Muhammad winning 52-65. Anna Crockwell 52-89. She didn't seem too happy either, Anna Crockwell, that Delilah Muhammad beat her, and Delilah Muhammad is winning and running for a final time. She's going to be finished at the end of this season, so good to see her winning. And yeah, those are the main results that I wanted to bring to you from the U.S. Trials, and look forward to the Worlds coming up. We're just about running out of time here on the England Rogers Sports Hour. It's 10:55. We have another program coming up. So I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for spending the time with me, keeping my company on this wonderful Saturday. Another one that's going to be hot. We've got some heat warning in Canada. The funny thing is, in the winter, we say it's too cold. We want to get the heat. But this summer, wow, this has been a crazy summer with so many hot days where the temperature gets up to 40 degrees plus. So another one of those days today. So I want to say thank you. Whatever you do today, be safe, be good. If you go outside, hydrate. Make sure you stay in the shade. Don't stay out too long. And make sure you use your sunscreen. Thanks for joining. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe and be good, everyone.